The Artifact, Chapter 4, The Cartographer's Secret. Elias quickly placed the Codex on a dusty marble slab, the broken pedestal of a Roman bust. He had to understand its defense. If opening the book was an attack, the book itself must hold the counter. The key is the generator, Agent Vance. If that masked man needed the book open, it means the Codex is not the source of the power, but the map and the keypad to a larger energy source. The generator is what powers the sleepers and their network. He opened the Codex again, but this time only a crack. The faint shimmer returned. The 17th century Venetian scholar, Dr. Valerius, who first possessed this book, he was known for his work in early cartography, specializing in mapping the city's complex subterranean canals. He wasn't charting water, he was charting power lines. I believe the generator is not an abstract concept, it is a physical place, and it must be somewhere that has been continuously receiving energy for centuries, a place of power. Vance nodded, her light sweeping the surrounding crates. A place of power. In Manhattan. That doesn't narrow it much. The original Dutch settlement, the old railway tunnels, maybe even a defunct power station. Elias stopped, his eyes fixed on the Aramaic pictographs that mapped the sleep network. Wait, the original Mithraic cults built their temples beneath the earth, near sources of geothermal heat or powerful natural currents. They believed dreams were powered by the earth itself. He zoomed his flashlight onto the diagram on the page, tracing the faint, almost invisible lines that converged on the generator. It's showing a flow of energy that is deep, continuous, and highly structured, Elias said excitedly, the scholar momentarily forgetting the danger. Look at the layout. It's a grid, but it has a specific, almost electrical pattern. He then flipped to a 19th century map of Naples, tucked into the back cover, the physician's possession. He laid the map side by side with the Codex's diagram. Look, the lines on the Codex perfectly mirror the old subterranean aqueducts of Naples, which themselves were built on top of Roman bath complexes. They are using an existing ancient infrastructure to channel the power. The lines are not conduits of psychic energy, they are physical channels that amplify the Earth's natural magnetic fields. So, in New York, we're looking for a similar confluence, the city's oldest infrastructure, something that runs deep and connects widely. She pulled out a secure tablet, her fingers flying across the screen, overlaying digitized maps of the city's oldest foundations. The 18th century water network, the first subway tunnels, the original pneumatic mail tubes. Suddenly, a massive, deep resonance shuddered through the entire sub-basement. It wasn't the sound of an explosion. It was a rhythmic, pulsing thrum that settled deep in their bones. The sound originated from the floor below them. It was a rhythmic, almost mechanical heartbeat. Vance's tablet flashed a warning. Unstable substructure integrity. Zone, forgotten wellspring, 170 feet below sea level. 170 feet, Elias breathed, looking from the tablet to the Codex. The deepest point in Manhattan's old infrastructure. The very bottom of the old colonial water system. A huge, forgotten catchment basin. It's not forgotten, Vance said, her eyes wide with grim realization. They are there. The generator is active. We just found the heart of the network. Elias looked at the Codex, which was now radiating a faint, heatless warmth. He understood the terrifying truth. The collector was just a foot soldier. The sleepers were the architects of this ancient, terrible power, and they had just turned on their machine beneath Manhattan. We need to get to that wellspring, Elias stated. We must find a way to switch off the generator, or every person dreaming tonight in New York will be plugged into their network. Vance didn't hesitate. She pointed her flashlight toward a crumbling section of the northern wall, where a rusted service ladder disappeared down a narrow maintenance shaft. Then let's go.
But we don't just have to worry about the masked man. If the generator is running, it means the sleeper is about to wake up. Continuing the story of the Air King's ghost, we follow Dr. Elias Thorne and Agent Sarah Vance as they descend into the forgotten depths of Manhattan, chasing the pulse of the generator and anticipating a confrontation with the mysterious sleeper.
The Artifact. Chapter 5. The Vertical Maze. The air in the maintenance shaft was a suffocating blend of earth, oil, and the sharp metallic tang of the massive rhythmic thrumming coming from below. The rhythmic pulse was no longer just a sound, it was a physical pressure, vibrating the iron rungs of the ladder Elias and Vance were descending. Elias held the Codex Somnus wedged awkwardly inside his jacket, its faint warmth against his ribs a chilling reminder of the proximity of the power it mapped. The descent was a harrowing journey through the forgotten layers of New York, a geological and historical timeline in rust and concrete. They passed brickwork from the 1850s Croton aqueduct system, then the rough-hewn stone of colonial-era foundations, and finally into a strata of untouched bedrock. Vance, descending with the practiced efficiency of a climber, spoke low into a wrist-mounted comm. "Control, this is Red Ghost. We are descending to the target zone. Sub-level 4 is compromised. Repeat, sub-level 4 is compromised. Requesting immediate extraction plan for 1 civilian and 1 high-value cultural asset. Acknowledge." Only static answered. "Radio signal dead," she hissed, pausing on a landing where the shaft widened slightly. "The generator's magnetic field is massive. It's scrambling everything. We're on our own, Doctor." Elias, who dedicated his life to preserving history, realized with a cold certainty that history was now trying to kill them. He looked down the shaft where Vance's powerful beam failed to find the bottom. In the Mithraic tradition, the final ascent to knowledge was often a descent into a Mithraeum, built below the city. The generator isn't just a power source, it's likely an altar, a place where the sleepers perform their work. The Artifact. Chapter 6. The Labyrinth of Dreams.
They finally reached the bottom, their feet splashing into a shallow, icy pool of stagnant water. They were in a vast cylindrical chamber, the forgotten wellspring. The air here was almost breathable, filtered by centuries of silence, yet heavy with the ozone scent they'd smelled in the vault. The thrumming was deafening now, originating from a dark aperture in the center of the chamber floor. But it was the walls that stole Elias's breath. They were not modern concrete or colonial stone, but ancient, perfectly fitted blocks of serpentine rock, imported centuries ago and carved with repeating, mesmerizing patterns. "Serpentine," Elias breathed, recognizing the green-black stone. "It's known for its high concentration of magnetite. It acts as a natural insulator and, more importantly, a conductor for terrestrial magnetic energy. They didn't find the place of power, they built one centuries ago to channel the Earth's electrical current." In the center of the room, positioned over the aperture that thrummed, was a massive structure that defied easy description. It looked like an archaic electrical coil fused with a religious monument. It was a 15-foot-tall pillar of serpentine, etched with the same Aramaic symbols found in the Codex. This was the generator. Dozens of thin, silver-braided wires snaked from the generator, disappearing up the walls and into the hidden infrastructure of the city, the ancient conduits Elias had mapped. These were the lines feeding the dreams of millions. And standing next to the generator, illuminated by its faint, eerie blue discharge, was a figure that commanded attention not through armor, but through stillness. He was a man in his late 60s, impeccably dressed in a dark linen suit, his silver hair neatly combed. He stood with his back to them, watching the energy flow into the pillar. This was clearly the leader, the master. This was the sleeper.